It's a short step away from tracking this data and holding it to attaching your name to it. And we think this kind of data is so pervasive that they ought to get your permission, even if they say they don't have your name attached to it. Who knows?
Senator Chuck Schumer calling for a federal investigation into an ad company's latest effort to target billboard ads to consumers as they pass by. So here's the creepy part. The billboard technology taps personal cell phones without customer knowledge. Clear Channel Outdoor America operates more than 675,000 billboards worldwide. The company says that Senator Schumer's characterization of the program is quote-unquote inaccurate. With me now, cyber expert David Kennedy. David, glad you're here. The company says the data is anonymous. It's more or less what we know happens online. But at least if you're on a site, you get warned about cookies, right? Do you see a difference with this?
It's actually the same thing. So what is actually happening here is these billboard companies are partnering with like AT&T and Verizon, and they will partner with them to allow specific types of information to be shared, such as like history, browser information, things like that, that would be used from like a cookie, for example, to be able to track what your spending habits are and what you're doing to provide these billboards. So definitely creepy, but it is essentially anonymous in a lot of cases. Okay,
because it feels very much like Minority Report with Tom Cruise, right? Where it's kind of like your iris is red. But it tracks, you just said, so travel patterns, behaviors, essentially your browsing history, so including more or less where you shop.
Right.
It's through the phone number. What if a consumer shuts off his or her GPS? Does that give that person a little bit more privacy or not?
No, unfortunately not. So the way that this works is there's a couple of techniques that they could use. One is pretty shady, which I don't think they would actually use, which would be to set up fake cell towers to intercept these type of phones. But what they're doing is when your phone connects to to actually use the internet or to make phone calls, they actually communicate to cell towers, and those cell towers can triangulate roughly where you're at as far as location goes. So even with things like your GPS turned off, the GPS actually isn't used in this type of case. So that information is actually rerouted to the billboards, and the billboards can then present things that you might be doing or what you might be shopping for as you're driving through. So, effectively turning off the GPS wouldn't help you out.
Okay. David, I want to ask you about a hack. This is under the digital theme. Tens of millions of dollars siphoned off from the Federal Bank of New York. Now, apparently, there was an attack on the program that connects the global banking system. So $81 million for the New York Fed. I guess we can say it's not a lot, but it still sets a very dangerous precedent.
Yep. Yeah, what these hackers were able to do is infiltrate the organization. It was a Bangladesh bank initially. It was $81 million. And it turned out that the hackers were able to infiltrate this bank and kind of look at what the hackers or what the company did to transfer money in and out of the company using a technique called Swift.
System.
Exactly, and then they transferred it all out, and they covered their tracks.
So those people, chances of them getting caught, high or low?
Slim to none.
Slim to none. And what does it mean for the future? I'm assuming Bank of New York, or rather the Fed Bank, changing its patterns as quickly as possible?
The problem is the way that Swift is used by millions of organizations across the globe, and it's what is typically used for international, wire transfer funds and transferring money in and out. So unfortunately, this is a very difficult and complex situation to fix. And if any hacker breaks into a bank, just by identifying where they can actually hack the Swift infrastructure, is relatively simple. So we'll see this from here on out for a little bit longer.
All right, and we know this is considered essentially the Rolls-Royce of systems, so have to be sharper on the good side. Cyber expert David Kennedy. Thanks, David, for the time.
Thanks, Deidre. I appreciate it.